I want to ask you both because this is, I would say, arguably the gayest Star Wars, I think, by a considerable margin. And are you excited about that? Are you
Not
bracing
the gayest
yourself?
Star Wars. Not the...
It's pretty gay, let's be honest. Leslie, how do you feel?
Am I gay? Yes.
Well, no, I know you are gay, but I'm asking, are you excited about putting this, this is going to be a talking point.
Is it going to be a talking point?
I'm sure so.
Because nerds are gay.
Well, some nerds are very not gay and are very threatened by gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true. But in my world, nerds are gay.
Okay. Was this the fun element of...
No, I don't think so. And yet people have told me that it's the gayest Star Wars, and I frankly...
You're offended?
Into it.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's fair to say, as soon as that clip went viral, yeah, most people knew with common sense anyway, Star Wars The Acolyte, it was doomed. It has to be one of the most disliked shows in quite some time. I don't even think you need to know about the show. You don't even need to be a Star Wars fan to know about all the controversy that came about, because the social media reaction to it was insane, and it is no coincidence that Disney is attached to this, because as we all know, everything they touch turns to absolute. Don't think I can swear this early on, but you all know what I'm on about. I mean, the reception to this, man, it just tells you all you need to know. For example, on Rotten Tomatoes, it has an 18% audience score, and that's better than it was, by the way, because at one point it was even 13%. I mean, lesbian space witches chanting in one of the most cringiest scenes today is what everyone was asking for. Don't lie, I know you were. Pronouns is what everybody was asking for. Cameos that just didn't make sense is what everybody was asking for. And with that, a terrible story and terrible acting is just what everybody was asking for.
Absolutely not.
And by the way, if you had complaints about this show, you were watching it and you were concerned about the direction the show was heading in, you were watching it and you thought to yourself, you know what, this isn't the Star Wars I once loved. This is how the media reacted. Insane. Star Wars toxic fans keep proving they are the worst. Acolyte Star reacts to toxic fans' attacks with a music video. Another cringy moment, by the way, you'll want to forget forever. Oh wait, that's toxic to say. I do apologize. The Acolyte hate proves that Star Wars fandom is just as toxic as ever. The Acolyte isn't ruining Star Wars, you are. Lucasfilm's latest series is the franchise's most promising yet, but fans are too blinded by their hate to see it. So no criticisms of the show there, just criticizing people who have an issue with the show. Why am I not surprised? And this is just an issue I think we can all see that we have today. You know, you're not allowed to say anything bad about anything without being labeled as toxic. You're a bigot, whatever. People just label you as something for criticizing anything. You just have to accept what's going on. What did these people actually expect when you turn something that was once great and then you put out The Acolyte, which is now sending it into a garbage direction? Did you really think people were going to go, oh yeah, this is fantastic? People are allowed to criticize things. However, despite the huge backlash the show got for many reasons, I've missed out some, you guys can leave the comments down below on the ones I missed out. Despite all that, there were people out there who were genuinely calling for a second season. Yes, there were people out there who wanted a second season of The Acolyte. I don't know what planet they're from, but I do think when it's time to leave Earth, we should probably avoid it. But it seems like Disney and Lucasfilm, they don't really agree with that, and they're finally using something they haven't used in quite some time. Common sense, I know, it's wonderful, isn't it? Deadline.com go on to report. The Acolyte is cancelled. No season 2 for Disney Plus's Star Wars series. Exclusive, the story of The Acolyte will not continue, with Lucasfilm opting not to proceed with a second season of the Star Wars offshoot starring Amanda Stenberg, sources tell Deadline. Word of the decision comes more than a month after the 8-episode first season of the series from creator, director, executive producer, and showrunner Leslie Headland wrapped its run on Disney Plus. The news is not entirely surprising. The Acolyte did okay with critics, with 78% on Rotten Tomatoes, because they're most likely paid. I mean, the audience score tells a very different story. But there were divided Star Wars fans, which was reflected in its overall viewership. Understatement. Driven by interest into the venerable space franchise, The Acolyte got off to a strong start when it launched on June 4th with 2 episodes, generating 4.8 million views in its first day on the streamer to rank as the biggest series premiere on Disney Plus this year. The tally rose to 11.1 million views globally after 5 days of streaming. Corroborating Disney's data, the series made its debut on Nielsen's Top 10 Originals chart in its premiere week at number 7 with 488 million minutes viewed, climbing to number 6 the following week. But The Acolyte could not sustain the momentum, no surprise there, dropping out of the top 10 in week 3 and staying off before returning at number 10 after the release of the finale, 335 million minutes, believed to be the lowest for a Star Wars series finale. And that's probably because people started to realize where the show was heading in, the direction, and how terrible it was getting. But remember, you're toxic for even thinking that, right? But this article from comicbook.news also goes on to talk about the low ratings the show received. The Acolyte season finale scores lowest Star Wars ratings. Season 2 is in doubt. Well, not anymore. It's done. But if we check out this image of the Nielsen charts, we can see The Acolyte is right down at the bottom in number 10. And thanks to a Redditor, we also have some charts which show how badly The Acolyte has performed compared to other Star Wars shows. With this chart here, you can see The Acolyte is right at the bottom again when it comes to average minutes per episode. And you can't really blame people, right? It was terribly written. Some of it just didn't even make sense, and people tried to give it a chance, but they tuned out. And it should be a big reality check for Disney and Lucasfilm. Will they act on this with future projects? Who knows? I wouldn't put any faith in them, because history just shows they want to continue going down a certain direction even though it's not serving them financially. But let's get back to the narrative of fans being toxic, because obviously now the show has been cancelled, and this is just another reason of the fans being way too toxic, mean, hateful, can't criticize anything. Just another example of toxic internet hate. Star Wars fans lost one of the most badass dark side user as The Acolyte gets cancelled after season 1. One of the most controversial Star Wars projects to date, Leslie Headland's The Acolyte has met an unfortunate end. I mean, is it that unfortunate? I don't think so, as the series has not been renewed for a second season. Poised to usher in a new era for the George Lucas created franchise and herald a new law for Disney Star Wars, the show has received mixed reviews at best. While fans found more to love than to hate, there was one element that even die-hard fans of the space opera franchise love. The show's increased focus on the dark side and featuring one of the most badass dark side users, but the negative wave of criticism and swells of controversy have drowned this ship before it could even embark. You know, you can have a semi-decent character and the show still be absolutely terrible, and the fact people are focusing on one character and that's its saving grace, just shows you how terribly written all of this was. Having one good character doesn't mean the show should continue if the rest of it is just utter garbage. Throughout its run, The Acolyte suffered a most insufferable fan hate across social media. The reason was not only because it lacked coherent storytelling, but more because of its increased dabbling with woke nature and challenging the established norms of the George Lucas created franchise. Well, maybe that's just a sign that people out there are just tired of woke agendas being shoved in their face 24/7. You know what? If people out there could make TV shows without woke culture being a focus, perhaps, just perhaps, it might turn out better for people. Maybe this is just an indication to people that in the future, just create something people want to watch. You know, leave your woke agendas at home. Is it that hard for you? Clearly. But that is the end of the video, ladies and gentlemen. What are your thoughts on The Acolyte not getting a second season? Are you surprised? Probably not, but I'd like to know. And if you have enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video, comment on this video, share this video, follow my socials down below in the description. But until next time, it has been your host JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out.